So what do you do when you have that project, right, that you create? You have, your masterpiece, your Vincent Van Gogh moment, right? And you present it, right? You have this great thing that you created and you present it, and the response is, meh. Like, what? Meh? Like, you just created your David. You just did your 16th chapel, right? And the response is, eh. Or what about if you ever had a project that you put together for somebody that was like that, right? You created this crazy great work. You stressed out to get it done. You were working nonstop, and the project doesn't get seen. It doesn't get recognized. So what happens when your worth doesn't get seen, right? And this is a question that I thought about the other day. I was talking to a former student of mine, right? And he's like my mentee. I call him my mentee, but so we were talking the other day, and there was a project that we had worked on together a couple months back, and it was a really big project. And at the moment that we were doing this whole thing for free, right? Like, this was a client that I was prospecting, like a new potential client. And I wanted to do the work for free. And it was a big project, and it was going to be like an ongoing thing. It was going to be a recurring thing. So, we were trying to get the system in place of how we were going to put this together each and every time. This was a big video project. How fast we could get the turnaround out, like what was the flow going to be on the back end, because it was a big project, and in order to do it in the time frame and manner that was required of it, we needed a team to put this all together. It couldn't be just me, So we're working on this project, man. We're getting this flow down, and this is a big project. So it was 3 of us working on it all together, right? So it's a big video project. We take it, we cut it together, we put it together for the client, right? And as we're about to present it to him, I'm thinking to myself, man, like, I don't know. We're always our own worst critic, right? But I'm thinking to myself, like, man, I don't know. Like, they're gonna like this. Like, is it, I'm thinking it's good, but I felt like I was a little too close to the project. How sometimes you got to step away from something and look at it with fresh eyes. But either way, that was what was required at the moment. So, after we had it all put together, he's looking at it. And I said to him, like, man, what do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about what we did here? And he goes, we killed it. And I'm like, what? Like, we killed it? Like, you think we killed it? You know what I mean? And in my mind, I'm like, I'm thinking it's good, but I don't know if I will use, like, killed it. Like, we killed it, man. We, like, knocked it out of the park. You know what I mean? But either way, I was, like, super proud of it. I mean, I was, like, showing everybody. So anyway, long story short, client checks it out. They actually end up loving it, right? They're like, oh, man, like, this is exactly what I was talking about. This is exactly what I was looking for, the creativity, the energy, blah, 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 blah. It was all there, right? So we're hitting on all cylinders right now. So we get to the whole negotiation stage where, it's time to start negotiating the monies. And it didn't work out. It fell apart, right? And basically we just couldn't come to an agreement for what I thought it would be worth to do the job and what they were willing to pay for it. So we never came to an agreement. From there, the situation just kind of fizzled out. And it was kind of crazy because at the time that it was going on, there was like so much happening. There was like so much buzz. There was like so much, energy, electricity. There was like so much, like hope and like expectation, of the future, and like, thinking like, oh my God, like if we do this, how would this look? How would this be? Like, what could this do? Not only for the client, but like for us as well too. And dude, it never happened. Didn't pan out. So, it's funny because like this same client had hit up one of the guys who helped me on the project, hit him up independently to work on a project, another project that they had going on. And, I don't know whatever happened with that. He was just like letting me know, because like the client wasn't a bad person. It was just that we couldn't come to agreement on a price. You know what I mean? It doesn't make him a bad person. But, the other day when I was talking to my mentee, right, after our conversation, I had went back and I had looked at the project, and I hadn't looked at it probably now within like, a couple of weeks. It had been a while since I looked at it, and maybe even some months, right? It's been a while. It was a couple months back, and I'm watching it, and I said to myself, like, damn, man, like, we did kill it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did kill that project, man. It's like we did an amazing job on that project, and I had, said to him, I said, man, I was looking at it the other day, and I said, man, you were right, man. We really did kill it. And he says, yeah, man, it's a shame that our worth wasn't seen. And I thought about that, and I said, man, sometimes, it's kind of crazy how that happens, that you put, your all. This thing was like consuming me, right, when I was putting together this project. And and it was like your worth isn't seen, and it's like, it was seen by, the client, but it just wasn't seen how it should have been in the format that it was supposed to be. And what do you do in those moments? Is it like, and I know that in those moments it can really get discouraging, right? Like, those are some of those moments where you're kind of just like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I had to buy new gear and everything for this project. I had to level up. It fell apart, but what it did do is it allowed me to open up another door, and it allowed me to take things to another level, and it allowed me to push myself and see what I could do and take things to another level. You know what I'm saying? So like, maybe the worth wasn't seen by a mass audience, right? But it was seen within me, right? I seen it within myself. I seen it within, the project that we all created. I seen it within everybody, and it can be discouraging if you feel like you don't get the recognition that you deserve. Like I have referenced earlier, sometimes you make these pieces, sometimes you make something, and at the end of it, you're like, this is it, man. Like, I killed it. This is my masterpiece. This is one of the best things I have ever done to date. And, you get the kind of response like, meh. And you're like, are you kidding me? And then you do something that's just like completely silly, and people are like, oh my God, that was really good. And you're like, what? So it's kind of interesting, when you feel like you work so hard and you feel like your worth isn't seen, or it isn't recognized, or or it isn't valued. And in those moments, what I'm gonna tell you is that you just got to keep going. And that's all there is to it. You got to keep going, because it will be seen by who it needs to be seen by, and you're going to get recognized. You know what I mean? So if you ever catch yourself in a situation like that where you had put yourself out there, you maybe did something for somebody for free, and you never get the recognition you deserve. Maybe you have, you know what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you do things and you don't get the credit that you feel that you deserve. The only thing to keep doing is keep working at it. You know what I mean? Like, just keep working at it and keep going and keep moving forward. Don't let it stop you. Everything ain't going to be a home run. You ain't going to get your way on every single thing, but just keep going. Just keep going. You know what I mean? And it's going to pan out the way it's supposed to. You got to build up that momentum. Once you build up that momentum, and it starts stacking and it starts rolling in your favor, man. So just keep at it. We're not always going to get the credit that we feel we deserve. Our worth isn't always going to be seen, as he put it, but we see it, and you need to know that. Just keep at it, keep moving, and you'll get that break. It'll all fall in place for you, man. So, that was just a little something I wanted to share with you. If you ever had that feeling. So until next time, people, peace.